Greetings, esteemed Black homeschooling parents. Baba Amin here, and I'm here to let you know that it's time to take charge of our children's education like never before. And I have exciting news for you. The Uhuru Academy online K 12 private school and homeschool partnership is here to change the game. And we're enrolling. Listen up. Our curriculum is proudly African centered, empowering young minds with knowledge that celebrates our rich heritage, our roots, and our greatness. Yes, you heard that right. We have students from all corners of the world, and our vision is to create a generation of leaders who are visionary, confident, and empowered. Black homeschooling parents, let's unite and give our children the gift of an education that fuels their pride, elevates their potential, and ignites their passion for greatness. Visit us at uhuruacademy.com to secure your child's position at the Uhuru Academy, the premier partner in empowering our leaders of tomorrow. Peace.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. You know what I'm saying? Peace and power, everybody out there. This is your brother Baba Amin Dr. And yo, welcome to the Fight the Algorithm podcast. You know what I'm saying? Let me bring in my co-host, my good brother right now, Dr. Junichi Bomani. Oh, what's up, man? How you doing, black man?
I'm fired up, man. I'm ready to take on every opportunity, every challenge, every hurdle. Hey, because we built for it, man. Let's go get it.
That's what I'm talking about. For those of you who do not know, Fight the Algorithm is a podcast, right? And it's a podcast where we talk about those algorithms, those that programming, that miseducation, right? That we have to fight. The things that are built into our culture that don't serve us well, right? That we must fight. So we say we fight the algorithm. But of course, if you're going to fight the algorithm, that means you got to write the algorithm as well. You know what I'm saying? So peace and power to everybody. My brother Kofi, peace, man. Peace, black man. Let's copy, let's share. Let's let everybody know that we here. This is Fight the Algorithm, man. How you feeling, Dr. J?
Man, you know I'm fired up, brother. You know I am fired up. You know I'm excited. Ready for this one, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a powerful one. This week, a lot going on in the world of sports, and some things jumped off, man, that really support the conversation that we had last week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm super excited about that. Before we get into it, though, man, you know I'm hyped because the first day of school for Uhuru Academy online is tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We getting ready to bring it in. Got students from all over the world coming in tomorrow, man. And, you know, it's time to develop that vision, brother.
You already know it, man.
It's time to develop that vision, man. So we're excited about that. Y'all definitely go check out uhuruacademy.com. All right. Also, make sure you go take that pipeline to power pledge. All right. We're looking for pipeline builders. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for pipeline builders. So make sure you go to pipeline to power.com as well, man. Hey, yo, bro.
Let's get it, man.
Last week we started a conversation. We talked about fighting the black athlete algorithm, right? Yeah. And what we basically was touching on was, you know, what are some ways, what are some solutions, right? So solutions when it comes to empowering Black athletes, when it comes to the narrative that surrounds Black athletes. We talk about some of the negativity, some of the negative narrative, some of the exploitation that exists, especially in organizations like the NCAA. You know what I'm saying? And today we're going to dive a little deep in that, and we're going to talk about beyond the prime effect tonight. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit about prime effect, what's going on with Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes and that sort of thing. But we got a special guest that's coming in tonight too, man. I'm gonna let you in, I guess.
Oh yeah, man, got a powerful brother, brother that I definitely been knowing for a very long time, man. An athlete, right? An athlete to the highest regard, man. Brother been running that ball, been playing football. I see, man, when we were in Pee Wee League, I seen him hit somebody so hard. He knocked him out of bounds about 7 yards. I said, oh my goodness.
In Pee Wee.
In Pee Wee League. So, hey, when you see this brother, the size that he is now, that was the same size he was in Pee Wee. No, man, hey, man, this brother is powerful, even beyond, hey, playing football. He is a kinesthetic genius, but he has learned to utilize his kinesthetic genius in other capacities as an educator, as a mentor to youth, man, engaging in community efforts, man. This is a powerful brother, brilliant brother, none other than Coach Ted T.
Man, appreciate you guys having me, man. Really do. Appreciate the introduction. Hey, I thought I was winning the Heisman Trophy.
Hey, man. I still remember that boy, man, that you knocked out of bounds, man. I wonder if he ever got
what happened to that young brother? I think I heard he went into HVAC.
Yeah.
That was his last football game.
Yeah. I heard he started focusing on the football. First of all, I want to acknowledge that Dunbar High School is in the house right now.
Oh, that's right. Come on now, we got to.
Yeah. First, I want to acknowledge that it's some Wildcats on this show tonight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'll be a Wildcat. Who be you?
You know what I'm talking about?
Too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, welcome, Ted, man. We appreciate you being on here with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? Especially with what we're talking about. And like Baba Bomani said, man, the work you do in the community. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you definitely did your thing as an athlete, and you continue to do your thing as an inspirational coach, life coach for others. You know what I'm saying? Encouraging people to stay in shape, but also the work that you're doing with young people. Before we even jump off with the dialogue, tell us a little bit about your youth program and what you're doing.
Man, you know what? The youth program is an enrichment and mentoring program. And I like to use the word enrichment because when sometimes I say sports, it get kind of watered down a little bit because we're doing more than what sports kind of people perceive as sports. We teach through sports as well as other enrichment programs. You know, we actually have esports. We have fashion. So we have it's different components, but we all know sports it draws the big crowd, and so it kind of get the forefront of what we do. But like I said, we have the mentoring piece that we do, which we go into the schools and we work with those students that we actually have that we service in the enrichment program. So it's afternoon and it's morning and it's evening. So we got you all day. So and it's. We base ourselves in the elementary schools, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders is what we really based, and we actually just now starting to touch some of our 6th graders. So it's all coming together, man. It's all coming together, and also I just finished up my first book, man. It's called Child Support.
Yeah, come on now, get it in now.
I had to put it in there. Yeah, I had to put it in there. And what the book talks about is what basically what we do. It's about building relationships with the student, building relationships with the parent and the community, and then how they all work together. So that's basically what our enrichment program is. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Man. That's what's up. That's beautiful, man. And I love how you say enrichment. I understand that using that rather than sports, it's like you're talking about the mission as opposed to the activity. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of reminds us of why we put our children in sports in the first place. A lot of times, the conversations around can he go pro or will they go to the NBA and that sort of thing. But we know that the majority of us that play are not going pro, right? What would you say, Ted T? And I want to know from you too, Dr. J. What's the overarching reason? What should we use sports to do? What's the mission when it comes to getting our children, boys and girls, engaged in sports? What do you feel should be the overall mission?
Well, I'm gonna go back to what you said about going pro. If that's the focus that kid has, I'm gonna use it. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna use it, and I'm speaking from being that kid. I thought I was going pro from the time I touched the football. You couldn't tell me I wasn't going pro. I was Tony Dorsett, baby. I was the guy. And so this was right before the no pass, no play ruling that came out. And I remember everyone was saying, "Oh man, it's targeting our kids. The no pass, no play." Honestly, it's the best thing that probably ever happened to me. I know it's the best thing that happened to me because I couldn't put school and my future, like I couldn't see past the next day. I couldn't see past the next week. So what I did, my dad, before it even came out, this was when they were just talking. And actually, when I can tell you how it all kind of unfolded. Dexter Manley came out and he let the world know that he couldn't read past the third grade level. Yeah. And then NCAA, UIA, everybody went to work on. Okay, this is basically you got exposed, and so they had to do something about it. And so, like I said, it helped the student like me. So I'd say keep encouraging them. And I didn't know I wasn't going pro until maybe about 2 or 3 years in college. The reality started to set in a little bit, but I'm already 2 or 3 years in college at that time. So now I had the blinders on me and I had to focus. Like it's sort of like when the racehorse that has the blinders, you looking this way, you're not letting them look that way. And so my eyes was focused here. And before, by the time they took the blinders off, I was close to graduating. And so, but the things that I learned in it was, man, just, the leadership, just how to work well with others, being held accountable, being on something that was bigger than me, right? And so it's a family effect to it. And if I don't do my job, then it affects the next person, and then it affects the next person. And it goes on and on. So all those things I took into the workplace, all those things I took into my professional life, and I'm still using those same things, those same tools, those same principles that I learned on the field, on the track, on the court. I'm still using those same principles, and I'm able to speak those principles into those players and to those people, to those kids that I work with now, and not only to the kids I work with, but to the adults. They say they love to hire athletes because you are a unity person. You can see the bigger picture. You don't see. I told my supervisor, she's very direct. She's very strong. She's very and I love it because it reminds me so much of a coach. But other people don't like it because they take it personal. I don't take it personal. My coach used to say, don't take it personal. It's business. And so that's how I take it. Okay. At the end of the day, it's business. We have this whatever a problem we have, whatever it is, the goal, we trying to reach this goal, and however I got to approach you to reach that goal, that's what I'm gonna have to do. So that's my goal. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Transferable skills. What's up, Dr. J?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now I was gonna say, man, those transferable skills, those the ability to take sports and the sports fields and kind of attach it to understanding real life and how those challenges come. You face those challenges in sports, and really being able to having to dig deep right? To get something done, to push through with your comrades, with your teammates, and say, hey, we're gonna win this together, right? The thing that's critical in that is being able to connect that to life, right? So when we connect it to life, the understanding of unity, like Coach Ted said, understanding unity, we connect it to the concept of community. We connect it to the concept of being able to solve issues, bringing that understanding through sports is very important. So for me, in my approach, in addition to the phenomenal aspects that Ted talked about, is that I utilize the notion of the natural genius, right? So for me, the concept of being able to play sports and being able to exude or exert that type of energy that it takes to go into on a football field, on a basketball court, and to compete in a way that you sweating, that you pushing, that you bleeding, you getting up off the floor, you failing, or you getting up off the field, you hurt your leg, but you shaking it off. Let's go next play, and you pushing each other. That's a natural energy, right? A warrior energy that we have in us naturally that has to be used in some form, shape, or fashion, right? To identify that early and understand that we utilize that in sports, but that type of energy, that kinesthetic genius that I talked about, is something that can be utilized in every aspect of a young athlete's or a young warrior's life, right? So when you see that young athlete out there going hard, and you said when he get the ball, he doing out the type of stuff that Ted used to do with the ball and get loose and run through and run. All of those things are natural genius. So in order for that natural genius to come out in full capacity, they have to, a young warrior athlete has to feel as though they're getting the chance to still move in that way. That's why, like I said last week, when we in the classroom, we ain't just sitting down. When my cousin used to tell me, you used to jump off the bed and you used to run and just take out running for no reason. It's in those opportunities to move across space and time effortlessly and being able to build that intensity in your body is when it unlocks everything in you. And now you start to see the word different. You start, I understand it now because I'm moving. I'm doing the same thing I did on the field. I like my son when he was taking the trash to the trash can. He ain't just gonna walk to the trash can. He got to grit it to the trash can. He trying to shoot it in the trash can. That brings out something natural in us. So understanding that in athletes is critical, and we utilize that, to connect them to every opportunity going forward, especially that vision development. So it's critical, man. It's critical.
All right. Good, great piece, man. Great piece. And a shout out to Trav Perry, in the chat. He say, my parents never took me to church. School football gave me my religion. I still operate in that discipline. Just speaking to some of those transferable skills that he picked up, and that kind of leads into my next question before we get right into the meat of our dialogue. Coach Ted T, you talk about how you had a destination in mind, pro football, right? It wasn't until 2 to 3 years into college where it set in and said, okay, well, professional football is not going to be, I'm not going to make that destination, right? How long, what was that transition like from realizing you're not getting to this destination, but then growing an appreciation for everything you picked up on the journey? Because a lot of times we don't appreciate the journey because we're so focused on the destination, and we hinge success or failure on whether or not I reach this destination, not understanding the jewels that we picked up along the way. What was that like for you? When did you realize that, wait a minute, though, I picked up a lot of jewels along the way?
Well, it took me a while. It took me a great while.
Yeah.
Because I even though I knew I wasn't getting there, and I went arena. I played 1 year arena ball, and really it wasn't made for my body type. You had to be extra small or extra big. It was one of those, you couldn't be a tweener, and that's what I was. I was an in between guy, So, but a lot of my friends had went on and played pro ball, so I was getting some of the perks without getting the perks, but I was in the, so I'm still thinking I'm like maybe something's gonna pop. Maybe I get an opportunity. Maybe maybe the Europe NFL may call me, XFL, somebody, anybody. I'm here. I'm available. And so as time went on, and at this time I hadn't finished school. So once I decided to go back to school, that's when that's when it dawned on me. That was the thing that kind of veered me to say, okay, let's find something. And that's what I was still working with the youth in the time, because even when I was in college, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. In matter of fact, in Stop 6 inside the projects. Worked at the summer. Then I ended up transferring. I went to the Boys and Girls Club in 3rd Ward in Houston, South Park, in South Park in Houston. So I was focusing. That kind of put me on that road of, you know, this is where I need to be. And I even tried to leave. I tried to go to the fire department. It didn't work out. I get a call from the Boys and Girls Club. Hey, I got a PE director, aquatics director job. And so I just kept landing. And so that's what it was, those things of when your calling start calling you.
Yes.
Yeah. When your calling start calling you, and you keep picking up and hanging up, like it's a bill collector.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I finally said hello, and I took advantage of that opportunity, and it was something that came. I won't say easy, but it came very natural.
Right.
Yeah, it came very natural. Then I went into the coach mode. Then I went, getting my certification, and things started happening. So it put me on that path of the enrichment, the mentoring, the big homie. They start calling me school. I said, okay, I done made it.
That's when you know, bro.
Yeah.
I called school, my life changed. I said, all right, man.
Right. So, and you look up, you 20, 25, 30. Actually, I saw a kid yesterday at Waffle House. He came in, he looked at me, and I looked familiar, but he had gray. He grayed up. I said,
wow.
He said, Coach. I said, Coach, you calling me Coach? You got all this gray hair. And yeah, man, we sit there and talk. He said he was 39 years old, man. He's like, man, I remember your Mustang. He was telling me about my car. He said, man, your swag, man, just, and so this kid, he gave me his story about him being locked up and about some other things. But what I was so happy about, because he was telling me some stories that I was giving him. He gave me some nuggets that I was pouring into him. So it took him a while, but it came around to it. So to answer your question, it was a few years. It was a few years. It was a reality check. And I just answered that call. Yeah, I answered. I finally picked up and just answered that call.
Right. And it's beautiful, man. But now that you're working with young people, we get to teach young people to appreciate the journey along the way, pick up those skills and kind of help let the next generation and the generation after that make those transitions even more smoothly with the backup plans and you know what I'm saying? And the importance of creating relationships along the way. And I kind of think I think that's one of the things that Coach Prime, that Deion Sanders is bringing to the conversation, to the forefront, putting more of a focus on the athlete. You know what I'm saying? And rather than just the school or the institution, that sort of thing. I'm interested in everybody's thoughts, man. What do y'all think about what's going on with Deion now? Remember Dr. J, when he left Jackson State, he wasn't feeling that. He wasn't feeling that, but we both had something to say. You know what I'm saying? Now he's made this transition over to the University of Colorado. He brought overhauled the whole team basically, and came to our hometown, came to Fort Worth and whooped up on them Horned Frogs. I say whooped up. It was a close game, but they were 20-point underdogs. So this whole saga with Deion Sanders, and we talking about breaking fighting the black athlete algorithm. Dr. J, how do you think what's going on with him kind of fits into that dialogue? What is he doing?
Man, no, I love the segue into it, because he's definitely taking a different approach. I think when you talk about and you look at these traditional Power 5 programs, these big programs, for them, it's all about the program. It's all about the institution. Nobody's bigger than the institution. And it may be true, right, in Colorado, but the way Deion is able to make athletes feel as though they have that importance, they're valuable, not even beyond football. Like when they come to the campus, I can just feel the family, real family, like that's Uncle Deion. Like I feel as though, you know, they see him as family, and that's very important to us as a people. We're a communal people. We believe in, we have a innate sense of community as something that we're drawn to, and I think he's naturally building that wherever he's going. You saw, of course, you saw that Jackson State, you know, and then like you said, when he left Jackson State, that was the part that I was concerned about, is that when you at a school like Jackson State, the concept of community and family is kind of built into the context of the environment, because it's small. Right. It's, you know, everybody got to stay tight because, you know, we don't have all the resources and all the, you know, perks and things. So we got to, what we have is us. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So stepping out of that was my concern. But he was able to transfer that same principle, those same concepts, right, and take them to Colorado, into the mountains, and bring kind of that same context with him, which is amazing. That's a natural gift in him. That's why I'm so intrigued by him, because he has this natural gifting of creating this community, creating the concept of family, you know what I'm saying, wherever he goes, you know, and really bringing it to the forefront and making his players truly believe. Like he said, no, they truly believe. Like when he say something, it's something that sparks inside him and say, no, this is true. This gonna happen. They start to envision it. They start to build the vision. He's a vision builder in the minds of these youth. They start to actually see themselves winning against TCU, even though TCU was in the championship last year. They started to spark that belief as a unit. Even though they got there 3 months ago, they have sparked the belief as a unit, as a community of young warriors taking on this mission, you know, through football.
All right. Well, and so Coach Ted T, as someone who's been on the college sidelines and that sort of thing, you know, what do you see when you see what's going on with Coach Prime? What do you see that's going on as far as the relationship between him, his players, and the message that he's trying to put out there?
Man, you know what? I run through a brick wall for my man Dion. I'm not lying to you. You know, I've seen him do it personally. I've seen him do it from when he was at the Truth. I saw him do it when he went over to Trinity. Mm-hmm. I saw, you know, at the high school level, you know, Jackson State, and here he's still doing it, and it's still the same concept. Mm-hmm. I care about you. I care about you. And if I care about you, that means I have to care about the whole program. I have to care about everybody. And so I'm seeing Dion having great relationships, not just with the student athlete. I'm talking about the families, you know, making sure they eat, making sure they have certain things, making sure they have, you know, they like fully covered, fully taken care of out of his own pocket. Yeah. And so I know it wasn't about the money. When, you know, when you went to Jackson State, I knew where this was going. You know, I knew, you know what, I've seen this baby boy. I seen Dion Jr. When Dion Jr. I went to the house in Prosper when, you know, he working at one of my homeboys, and we go over there, and I'm seeing how he is with his kids. And so like I said, I run through a brick wall simply because I remember being in college, and it's not for everybody. You know, a lot of the coaches, they looking at it like, look, my job on the line, and man, I need you to do this. It's a sense of urgency about me. Like my job, it's a sense of urgency about my job, not a sense of urgency to get you better as a man, or get you better, get you in the transition from going boy to man. That's not my urgency. My urgency is to get you on this field, and you the product, and I need this product to be right, so these people can pat me on my back and tell me I did a great job with the product. And so Dion took that aspect off of it. If you notice, when he went to Jackson State, he's like, man, look. It only costs, you know, a couple of $100, maybe $500 to put the kid's last name on the back of their jersey. We can't do that. We're in the SWAC, and we can't put the kid's last name. Like, that's saying, like, I want them to, you know, be represented. I want them to feel good about themselves. I want each individual player to feel good about themselves. And so that aspect that he brought, that family, that like what Dr. Bo just said, it's that close knit, man. And I've seen coaches sit on my couch, you know, and come into your house and have this, yes, this is what we're going to do, and this and that. And you get to the school and they walking right past as if you never existed, you know, or you know, you gotta major in this and this because these classes don't align with our football schedule. And I don't see they own you, man. Like, seriously, like that was the big transition for me from high school to college. Was I did not own my time anymore. I didn't own my time no more. You got it. It's 5 a.m. workout, straight to breakfast. From breakfast, you got class. After class, you got to go do your treatment. After treatment, it's about to be film time. You got to get taped up, practice. After practice, then you got dinner. After dinner, then you have study hall. And by that time, it's like 10:30. And so, and this is day in and day out, and you watch it, you paranoid, and so that really, as a football player, I can't speak for basketball and the hockeys and the soccers. I can't speak for them, but I can speak for football. That's your family. Like those are the guys you're with all day, every day. And from what I'm seeing with them, those guys smiling, they having a good time. They don't they don't look super stressed. I can look at some of those programs and say, I know what you're feeling. I understand what you're feeling. If you used to having your time, I'm gonna go to practice, I'm gonna do a little something, then I'm gonna go have a little fun. No. And that's why sometimes our players get in trouble a little bit, because when they get a little free time, it's free time. They about to
a lot of repressed energy, huh? A lot of energy gotta come out, right? Wow. And having and being in a program where that you're gonna be protected and looked out for and advocated for, definitely is very important. Do y'all feel that, and we talked about this a little bit last week, Dr. Bo, that when it comes to Black athletes, and I should say I love Eric Dickerson mama. When I saw that 30 for 30 and saw how it was like, I know y'all don't care about my baby. Drop that envelope if you want me to come to your school. I advocate for Black families getting the bag. I know it's against the rules, but if they don't care about you, at least we can get a community center or something when it comes to the best and brightest out. Is Deion? So now I'm looking at him going to Colorado. I'm like, yes, Colorado's a white institution, and they don't deserve no Deions. They don't deserve none of that. No, but at the same time, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, is he changing the way Black athletes will have to be recruited? Because this is a copycat nation, and if he says, if I take this formula over here and it works, if I take the worst team in the country and turn with this formula, and all the best want to come right out here to these mountains, how does that affect the whole landscape?
Oh man, listen, you said it, man. They're gonna have to change it and adapt and adjust it and start to utilize the same approaches. But the problem is they ain't him. Right. There's some people that's like him, but they look like him. So this is going to change. If depending on what happens this season, or he ain't even got to win it all. But if it shifts enough to where the media has to continue to give them the lion's share of media, that means more money, that means more exposure. Now and he is highlighting his players, just like you just said, right? They have their social media handles on the backs of their practice jerseys, which means that everybody when they see them in practice, they see them, on Well Off Media, which is Deion Sanders Jr.'s YouTube page. They see their YouTube. They immediately go to their Instagram. People can go to their Instagram immediately off seeing the YouTube video. Right? That changes the landscape, because now the player is put in the forefront as the main, highlight of what's happening, as opposed to UT and Auburn and Alabama being in front. No, it's the players. No, we are the ones that make this engine go, right? Which is really the truth, right? But we have been allowed to, the institutes have been allowed to, push their own brands in the front by kind of, enslaving, right, for the right choice of word, enslaving players to build their own brand, right? Deion is shifting that, because he don't have the type of destitution that would make him have to feel like he gotta be hug up with the institution so much where I can't do the things that I have in my heart to see. No, he can say, no, I'm gonna do it my way, right? I'm gonna stay bold, I'm gonna stay unapologetic, right? And I have so much clout because I got leverage. I'm a Hall of Famer. I've done it. I do it everywhere I go. I'm a winner. You can't deny it. Your opinion don't matter. And he's standing bold with it. So this type of approach, it calls for the attention. It calls for really shifting how players are looked at. And guess what? Our youth are genius, right? They can see. They can identify when something is more beneficial to them, right? Especially as an athlete coming up and say, man, I can still play football and I'm gonna get a chance to build my own brand. And if I connect that to the NFL, all of that is a pipeline into that, right? And even if you don't make it to the NFL, because you've built your brand, now you can branch off into other opportunities.
Other things, right?
Exactly. So they can understand how they can work. And now you got parents that are looking like, okay, dang, it's a lot of parents that understand. Hey, I understand my son might not make it, but guess what? If he go with Dion, he gonna build a strong brand. He gonna build such a strong unit. He gonna have much maturity. So whatever he chooses to do,
other avenues, like I say, you may find your call and your passion along the way. It's great to be surrounded by people who's going to encourage you, like he say, to answer the phone.
To answer the phone. And Dion can push. Hey, it's other phone calls happening for you. You know what I'm saying? He can promote that in his teaching, right? Yeah.
And that's what I want to ask you, Ted T, coach, because you've been around him and you know in the youth leagues, things like that. You know, one of the stereotypes is that stars get treated one way, right? And yeah, you got to treat your stars a certain way. You know, we know who the best players on the team are. How does Dion treat the others?
Just like he just said, hey, their social media is on back of that. He giving you the opportunity to shine. He giving you the opportunity. Now, what you do with the opportunity, now that's totally up to you. Yeah. So right. I'm gonna put you in position, but I can't make the play for you. And so right. those that decide to make the play, to give the extra effort, to do the things that's necessary in order to flourish, those are the guys that are going to eat. Now, it's not saying that the guys that doesn't, you know, reach a certain standard doesn't eat. They just don't eat as much. You know, they don't have the plate is not as full. And so I love even how he's doing, you know, with the family. Like you seen the commercial he had all the kids on the commercial. I don't know if you noticed that he had one. I think it was AT&T or T-Mobile. It was a commercial that came on during the game. All of his kids were on the commercial. Yeah, so just like that, and he look at his players as his kids. I'm gonna give you this opportunity. Now, what you choose to do with that opportunity, it's up to you. Now, for instance, his daughter. I don't know if you guys remember his daughter. She had a moment of she posed. She had some inappropriate pictures that was out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So what Dion did, said, "Oh no, we go get this right." So he had her on the radio. And the next thing you know, she was doing a tour, teaching young girls about not to do these things and how you can get exploited and it's never never get off the internet. And so he's a mastermind when it comes to marketing. He can turn something that's evil or something that's bad and say, "Hey, we're gonna make the best out of this. We gonna come and we go." You know, it's almost like a Kim Kardashian type thing. You know, it's look, we go all eat because Daddy was great, and Daddy go make sure I'm gonna put all of you in position, including my players. I'm gonna put everybody in position that's connected to me. Look at the coaches. He brought the same coaches that was with him in Little League with True are coaching at the collegiate level. That's unheard of. Yeah, that's unheard of. You know, most coaches, college coaches have their master degrees. They have to. These guys, some of them don't even have a degree, but they coaching at the collegiate level and doing an excellent job at it. So that's how.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was the towel boy on the team, I'm gonna have a hustle popping. I'm
having prime towels.
We had a talk of the day at TCU, but we pulled it out. I ain't even played. Jersey clean.
Water go out like prime water.
What? I see Coach Prime every day. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, it's on, man. It's on. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel that, man. I don't want people to think that when we talk about this, we talk about Jackson State, we talk about HBCUs, right? And we talk about HBCUs in even broader context. So sometimes we talk about HBCUs or historically Black colleges and universities as if they're Black-owned universities.
Right.
And a lot are not. Many are part of a white-run education system. And a lot of them are in apartheid-type conditions to where they're still just like Molly gotta pay tax to France. You know what I'm saying? Prairie View gotta give some money to Texas A&M. Like, if it, I'm being fair with that, right? Right. And so there's still some freedom to be fought for when it comes to HBCUs, right? And so when people piled on Deion, see, you used Jackson State and then you left. How do y'all feel about that whole sentiment? Like they the only ones that gave you an opportunity. They wouldn't give, but as soon as you shine a little bit, you go over to the Power Five. How do y'all respond to that criticism?
Yeah, if I guess I'll talk about it because I know we talked about this before, but for me, right. I think it's a matter of us and our mentality saying that, listen, no matter what happens, because let's think about it like this. What if Deion would have been coaching at Jackson State and something, God forbid, Deion would have he would have passed away. I don't want to, I'm saying that he was no longer able, or let me just say this, he was no longer able to coach Jackson State because of health reasons, which was almost the case, right?
Right.
Then what would be our approach to it, right? I think we get into, again, our savior complex, right? We get so caught up on one person doing something that we forget that it takes a village to raise anything that we want to do, right? So when Deion comes in and sparks something, right? Deion has always been an igniter. He's always been an igniter. When he played football, when he played for San Francisco, Atlanta, he played for Dallas, he came in and ignite the team into championships, right? But he's not going to be there to sustain it over a long period of time. That's not his position, right? So we have to understand ourselves as the village who comes in for sustainability. So when somebody starts something, you get something moving, right? We have to be there as the village to support we say we love our children, we love the students that we say, and we concerned about Deion's leaving the kids. Right. We got to be the village that sustains those kids no matter where Deion goes, because we don't know what will happen to Deion and what situation may happen in his life, right? We got to be there to be strong enough to say, okay, I thank you for everything that you have been able to ignite and start. You put a phenomenal thing in place. We are the village that's now going to come in and be the sustainability for
this. That. So it's kind of like if somebody is hurt and you perform in CPR and you leave, and we just get mad at you for leaving, but nobody else gets down.
Nobody going to jump in.
Right.
So you say they still selling Jackson State merchandise. Right. They still selling Jackson State jerseys. We can still support Jackson State. That's what you're telling me.
Absolutely. Jackson State's still there. It's still Jackson State. Okay. They still got a football team. They still got students that go to class. They still need resources. Nothing has changed. Just one person transition to another position. We still can be the village for Jackson State. We can be the village for Prairie View. We can be the village for Tuskegee. You know what I'm saying? Talladega, which is where Deion graduated from. You know what I'm saying? We still have to be that. And I think that's from a mentality standpoint, that's what we as the people got to shift and grow and mature, right? Collectively and say, hey, we appreciate that. We're going to come in strong as the village because it's millions of us. It's one Deion. Deion is a special being, right? But collectively, we are more powerful, right? So we got to think about ourselves in that regard. That's my perspective on it.
What you think?
I love it. And Deion was the first one to do it, and me being a player out of the SWAC, I originally played at Texas Southern. And so I played against Doug Williams when Doug Williams became the head coach at Grambling. Yeah. And, Doug Williams was very, very instrumental in the NFL and black quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so, but Doug Williams, he did his time at Grambling, and he went on into, went to Tampa Bay and worked in the front office. And so sometimes when you get those opportunities, but I guarantee you, I know he does. Doug Williams still gives back to Grambling. And just as Deion he said he's still going to give back to Jackson State. It's not like I'm leaving and I'm just going to take my hands off of it. Like I'm still, you guys gave me an opportunity. And because you gave me the opportunity, that seed that you allowed me to plant there, I'm gonna still water that seed. Now, I love my HBCUs, but you got to do right by the money. You got to make sure it's going where it's supposed to go. And I think when you have that and you have that transparency, people will be more willing to give. And it's just not at an HBCU. It goes other places. This happened in other places. We just kind of, I think they throw it on us a little bit more. They throw the fire, the fire a little, or the gasoline a little bit more on the fire when it comes to us. Yeah. But what he doing, man, that transition, and I'm what Shador said. These SWAC players just came in here and beat this Power 5. You know, and that shows that, you know, we all know. When I went to Texas Southern, Michael Strahan just left, a Hall of Famer. You know, right? I played against Donald Driver. Who is Steve McNair left a year before I got there. So it was still, you know, guys, they still in there. They still, you know,
it's some man, come on.
Right. Look, I remember my first game, the Labor Day Classic, which they had yesterday, you know, Prairie View won. I never lost to Prairie View. But we go in, and I remember going into the Astrodome, and I looked around. I was like, whoa, I can get used to this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I honestly, you know, only HBCU game I ever been to was the Grambling Prairie View game at the Cotton Bowl, and I know it's a nice crowd in there. But you know, we played that Labor Day Classic. I was like, wow, this is I can get used to this. And so, for us revenue and all those things, now that we have streaming, we have these different avenues. Now I think HBCU can actually they're winning on this at this stage. They can win. I can promote my players. I can do all those things. I can take what Deion's doing because he's giving you the blueprint. He gave you the blueprint.
There it is, yeah.
Especially in SWAC. Gave you the blueprint. Follow the blueprint.
Yep.
And just what Dr. Bo said, everybody's not Deion, but everybody can follow the blueprint.
Yeah.
Everybody can follow the blueprint.
All right, man.
And what I'll say on top of this, that we got to be the market. Like we have to be. See, the people that complain gonna continue to complain. The people that was complaining, right? And I'm talking about people that complain without really an analysis. Like I was complaining with an analysis, like, okay, this is the aspect that may be an issue that have to be worked. But you got people that just gonna complain anyway. Man, he done left, and I'm talking, they ain't sent a half of a penny to no HBCU ever. Right? So
don't even know what the B is stand for in HBCU.
Right.
What the B mean?
Hamburger.
Absolutely. So that's one thing we got to keep in mind, man. And unfortunately, a lot of times it be the complainers that get the loudest horn.
Yeah.
And then the people that, you know, that look at it and say, you know what, this is, like you just said, the formula that Deion put forward is a formula that can spark and build sustainability if we utilize it across the board, and we are the market as the community to sustain it. Right. So you take their formula and we plug it into each HBCU, and every community that is around each HBCU supports their formula. Right. But that type of organizing is the work that it would take to really build HBCs up. Because when we talk about football, of course, college football don't work without our children. Right. It ain't. If let's just be real. If black players said we ain't playing for none of these PWIs would not have football programs. That's just the truth.
No, right? They would. It just wouldn't look the same.
Yeah, it wouldn't look the same. I wouldn't look at it. Nobody would look at it.
They have it. They'll play.
It'll be on campus. It'll be intramural.
Yeah.
But that's one thing we look at. Okay, if that's the case, then how are we maximizing our position, right, as families, as communities, in allowing our kids to flow into these institutions? How are we going to maximize their pipeline through and in? If they're going to be there, how can we maximize them being there? From looking at the NIL deals, looking at how they can best brand themselves, how they can have the most exposure to the networks, while they're there. So, regardless of what happens with them, they can maximize the networks to tap into other opportunities. Right. Yeah. Being able to plan all of that out before you send a child, 1,000 miles away is going to be critical for us. Right. Because they have something that they can envision and take strategic steps and action steps towards to get to, their actualization.
But I like what you said about the NIL deals, because now what I love about the NIL deals, no matter where you are, now it allowed me to be able to put my creativity spin, my twist
Yeah.
Be it fashion, be it, you know, if I like whatever it is, I can put my personal twist, and I'm my own brand. I represent the school, but I'm my own brand. And no matter what level you play on, even at the HBCU level, I think it's easier and it's more accepted in certain aspects, because now I can really be me. I can be, you know, I can be a little flamboyant. I can be a little, you know, and boy, you can attest to this. You know me, I love, you know, I'm always make sure I look good. I didn't talk a lot of noise, but I made sure I always look good. I was very, when I hit the field, I had a certain swagger, certain things, certain
spat on.
You know, I made sure I look good, and so that, you know, that inspired. You know, our kids love that. Our kids love that. Man, look, you get out there, you create your own shoe. Like now, you things are so accessible at this point. Man, I said, boy, NIL, I don't even think forget the NFL. I'd have been trying to just work that NIL. I think I'd have been just an NIL genius when it came. You know, we had that opportunity.
I say, and so I think that one of the things I love about Deion's approach, I watched the press conference and just watching them throughout the years. Deion smiled, but he ain't buck dance.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I love that. Yeah,
right. And I like that watching his growth over the years. It seems that he's teaching the brothers who they friends are and who they friends ain't. Yep. I love that he sat in the press conference and said, y'all don't like to see a confident black man, you know what I'm saying, who's confident about himself. You know what I'm saying? He said, and connecting with a locker room that's 75% African American. He dropped numbers, and he brought a cultural conversation into the press conference. No one asked for that. He brought it into it, which is telling me that that's something that he's also emphasizing behind the scenes. What role do y'all feel culture plays in not only helping black athletes find success, but helping them to avoid some of those roadblocks, some of the traps? You know, the whole thing about getting the money and losing it because all you're doing is spending it. Maybe coming back into the community as Deion Sanders has done for the past 2 decades, coming back into the community and paying it forward. What role do y'all feel culture plays in getting? I could get you to monetary success, but what's going to get you there with the right mentality and in a way that's going to benefit the whole? Is that important?
No, absolutely, man. I mean, I think it's absolutely critical, and I think it is so we're talking about the concept of family and community, but that is the cultural context that's the makeup. That is the DNA of what makes Deion's connection to these players and these families so powerful, is the cultural competency that he utilizes and helps them to understand. Listen, they can see it. Think about it. For the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, the world has been saying, that the mainstream media has been saying, nah, Deion can't do it. They coming from HBCU. All these, he said, I got receipts. Everything they done said through the media, everybody that come up, they don't, everything in a row. I saw the bull junkie wrote. You know how he
right.
So his players are seeing this, right? He's seeing how they have turned on the players that came from Florida State, players that came from Alabama, that came from the SEC, they came from other course. They see how, because I left these other schools and I came to play with Coach Prime, now I ain't as good as you said I was when I was coming out of high school as a 4-star, as a 5-star. Now I'm playing in Colorado. I'm still the same person. I'm still the same guy. But now I'm with Deion. You don't like Deion as a confident black man. Now us together, we ain't worthy, right? So he's conceptualizing this for his team to understand. Listen, look how they would turn on you. This is why it's critical for us to love us, for us to be connected to us and really believe in us. He's using the words believe. These things mean that we believe in us as a unit, as a community, as a family of people, right? And in that, he's able to teach these principles. He can teach how we continue to take these same principles. Even if you make it to the league, you take them same principles and you connect with people that give you the same context that you had when you was here in Colorado. You don't go hang with somebody that don't understand how we rode, how we was together, and how strong we was together. If you don't feel that same energy, feel that same connection, you don't ride with them people. You find this same energy when you get into the league. right? Because this same energy will help you to navigate in a way that allows you to maximize all resources and things that you're going to be able and have access to. You'll be able to utilize it and maximize it for not only yourself, but also for your family, and have the ability to make that impact back into your community and for future generations. I think the cultural concept is the biggest aspect of it.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. If you notice these last few weeks, man, you had Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah.
You had Dion. You had black excellence at an all-time height. But not only the excellent part, but it was how the media bashed.
Yeah.
And they used that fuel. Dion spoke indirectly when he was speaking. He would speak indirectly, like as he's motivating his players, as he's talking to even to the media, as he's talking to his coaching staff. It's an indirect to greatness. Like he and then now he put all that together, and then he kind of put it out there after the game and said, now are you still talking? Now do you believe? Now do you believe? All we're gonna do is work. And so what they're doing, I think how they tried to judge Dion was probably on X's and O's. Like he's not an X and O guy. He's this. So what this Tony Dungy, I can name numerous of coaches that are great motivators. And Tony Dungy wasn't a dog. Like Tony Dungy wasn't a guy that just go rah, rah, rah. But he put those guys around him. Like I'm gonna put those guys around me. So Dion, I'm gonna put a collective, I'm gonna put a great team around me. I'm the leader, and that's what I do. I'm gonna lead out. This is what I want. This is how I want my team to. This is how I want you to approach the game. These are the things that I don't have to. Only time I'm gonna make a decision if it's a 4th and 1. If we need to do an onside kick. Other than that, do your thing, because I've done my job as a leader. I put my kids in position to win, like mentally. I put my coaches in the position to win mentally, and now they believe. Like I don't need no one outside this locker room, outside this unit. The naysayer. I don't need you guys. I just need this right here. This right here. This is all that I'm worried about in here, and it's hard. That's a hard thing. That's a hard thing, especially with the media. That like when people are talking now, anybody can get on here. Like just like us, we right here talking. Anybody can say anything, and anybody can go viral. Anybody can, anybody can say. And then sometimes we like to clap back, and like if you don't know me, you done made it personal. You talking about my, What Dion did said, you know what? I'm keeping this. I'm keeping the main thing. Yeah. And if I can get these group of guys inside of this locker room, inside of this facility, if I can get you to believe. That's it. That's all I need you to do. I just need you to believe. Believe in what I'm instilling. I'm proving. It's proof in my pudding. Yeah. And let's go out here and play ball. And that's what they did.
I love it, y'all. And we're gonna bring it to a close here in a little bit, man. But if we could take that same thing you just described, take that same attitude, that same analogy, and approach every issue in the Black community that way. That's right. Like parents that are watching this right now, ask yourself every day, am I putting my child in a position to win? Are we putting, as a collective, are we putting our children in a position to win? I had a friend tell me that he went down to a school board meeting and white folks was down there protesting and heckling and all that and pulling books out the library and standing up and you're gonna do this, gonna make this happen. And he we get kind of mad. Why are you doing that? Right? But my attitude is we should do that.
Yeah.
In their minds, they're putting their children in a position to what? To win. Yeah. And they're willing to go all out to do that. Yeah. Right? We need to ask ourselves as we fight the algorithm, as we raise our children, as we build for our future, for our community. Are we putting ourselves in a position to win? And are we able to focus on that main thing and keep the main thing the main thing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? On the way, because we get personal, and I've been in meetings about education, and it's two people that had an argument about something. We can't work together to help the youth because y'all don't like each other over something personal, right? Right, and those distractions and that sort of thing. So I think there are a lot of analogies that we can pull, y'all, as we close tonight. On this, I think it's been a dynamic conversation. Yeah, what are some parting words? What are some parting words when we talk about fighting a black athlete algorithm, right? In other words, empowering black athletes to succeed and be true resources for their families and for our community. It just quick, 2 to 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Give me one main component that you see needs to be put in place if we're going to empower our athletes to succeed. And I'm going to go with you first, Coach. And then you're going to close us out, Dr. Bo.
All right.
My athletes, this is what I need you to do. And my parents, make sure you support them in this. Take those principles, take those values, those things that you learned, connect those things to life. Never leave the field, the court, never leave the playing field and just think it's done.
Yeah.
You can always win. You can always get better. I need you to take more reps at whatever it is that you're doing, whatever that vision may be. More reps. And that's one thing I learned about at Dunbar High School. I learned this. We didn't run many plays, but the few plays that we ran them so well, and we ran them so many times that the other team knew it was coming and they still couldn't stop it. Nice. And so that's what Deion's saying. Look, I'm so great at what I do. And I'm gonna do that great thing so well, you know it's coming and you can't stop it. And so that's what reps are. That's what reps will do. Just doing the same thing, getting better in that area. And other things, it's gonna grow. Like when you get better in one area, watch how you grow in other areas. And watch how many people that latch on, like the right people that are coming the right people will come in your life in order for you to win. And so that's my
athletics. That's true in sports. That's true in STEM and science. That's true. That's transferable.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Dr. J, what's up?
Man, I love that closing, man. That's phenomenal, man. And it definitely connects to the notion of us really being intentional about identifying, and I'm gonna keep saying it, the natural genius, right? Because a lot of times we misconceptualize our children, right? Even as athletes, we get locked into this notion of this is the only way that this can be utilized, right? Is on the field, is on the court, right? And we want to maximize that ability, but understand that when we have this natural genius, when we born, it's there before we ever step on the field, which means that it is to be utilized in our life all the way to the end of the life. Right. So understanding that and being able to label our children as genius and be able to maximize it in everything that our children do, connected to that vision, like Coach T said, and understand how we can successfully, succinctly and effectively help our children to walk through a plan, right, that allows them to become powerful in that genius, in that superpower, and what Ted T like to use, right? But we have to be able to identify that. That's our job as a business, is to identify the greatest strengths and power in our children early and start to call them by that, speak a language to them that only sparks what's natural in them, as opposed to speaking one that counters it and demonizes it and allowing others to speak language that are not competent and understanding of who our children are, right? Such as when they go to school, such as when they in various situations and other people are labeling them with these different labels and calling them bad and unruly and all these different things that do not connect to what we have to understand is in them, right? This is critical in this time that we start to really step back, grab our children near, and start to be very intentional about being alert, aware, and ready to protect them. Because a lot of times that I understand with this sense of being doubted, and I think this is big in the concept of Deion and those players, is that when they was at them other schools, they was too comfortable, right? So they couldn't see that the people that was rooting for them, the people that was bigging them up, really didn't care about them. Until they went to Colorado with Coach Deion, then they started to really see the true colors of the same media, the same people that was saying, no, they're gonna be great this year. When you went to play with somebody that they didn't like, right? Now they done changed and shifted. Now it sparks your consciousness. Now you're alert now. Oh, okay, this is what's really going on. The same thing with Sha'Carri Richardson. Until she started to get all them doubters and people throwing her away, right? it took all of that for her to shift and say, oh, okay, now I see. Okay, I see what it is. I see who is who, right? And she alluded to that in her speech. Now she said, I run for those that have been doubted and the underdogs, those that look like me, that been through what I've been through. Now I run for them. Now the maturity, it comes out of her because of the challenges and the doubters. Now she see it as an opportunity to learn and grow, right? So for us as the village, listen, identify that genius in our youth. Identify when you see our kids running and jumping off of beds like they said I used to do. That means something. Everything they do means something, and it connects to something that's going to allow them to reach their full power and potential. Not something to be demonized, but something to be actualized into their greatness.
I say. And you ain't telling parents to let the kids go on and jump in the bed, but you just saying that don't mean they bad.
You know, right? They don't mean they bad. That means if they do that without
the bed, though, still.
Look at it. Okay,
yeah, get your kinesthetically smart tail out my room. That's what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, brothers, great conversation. You know what I'm saying? Great conversation. I like to shout out to some folks in the comments. My boy Dean Manuscript in the house. Appreciate you, Dean Manuscript. You know what I'm saying? One of when you talking about independent radio, Tri-Coastal Radio out of Funky Town, Fort Worth, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tri-Coastal, man. He bigging up, he tagging people. You know what I'm saying? Good job with that, man. Appreciate that. My brother Raheem Israel out of Chicago, out of the Midwest. One of the fathers, one of the parents in the Uhuru Academy, but also the founder of HOR Consultation. Him and his wife, they do excellent work when it comes to event planning, online management. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine, webmastering, whole 9 yards. A key part of the Uhuru Academy team. Sylvia Elgin, Miss Sylvia in the house. She said, "Peace to the Kings." You know what I'm saying? Fort Worth up in here, man. My sister Aziza, shout out to you as well. You know, hey, y'all, make sure that you share this dialogue. I feel that people will get a lot out of listening to what we talked about tonight. I appreciate the perspective that both of y'all brought to the table. This is how we help our people fight the algorithm.
That's right.
Right. So great job. Hey, on behalf of Dr. J, on behalf of Coach Ted T, you know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all, be real out there. All right. Be real. Stay up. Let's make this happen. Peace. See y'all next week.